You are Locked On Nuggets POSTCAST, powered by Mile High Sports, part of Locked On Sports Denver on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
That was ugly. Not even ugly. That was disgusting from the Denver Nuggets tonight, as they fall to the Washington Wizards, who won their third game of the season. Your final score, 122-113. For any of you watching live, I really appreciate y'all because you should probably have skipped watching that game because that was not a good way to get your Saturday night started here. Welcome on into your Locked On Nuggets postcast. I am your host, Aniello Piro. You guys can follow me on social media at Media by AP. And today's episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast is brought to you by our friends over at Robinhood. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. More from our friends over at Robinhood in just a little bit. But man, I did not expect this. I also expected Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon to be out there, although that's no excuse for how the Denver Nuggets played tonight. 2 games in a row where Nikola Jokic has essentially tried to do everything in his power to put the team on his back and lead them to a victory, and just the surrounding cast is unable to do their job, simply put. I mean, there's a lot to talk about here tonight. We'll do the kind of game breakdown for the first segment, but like I put on the thumbnail on YouTube, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, Locked On Sports Denver, if you guys want to watch your postcasts throughout the course of the season. Something's got to change. Something has got to change. And I was debating about, is this rock bottom? Like, I was thinking about kind of having that conversation. I don't know if it is. I don't know if it is. I mean, this is a terrible loss, so it might be their worst loss of the season. Hopefully it is. But there is just so much more bad than good with this Denver Nuggets team right now. And Nikola Jokic masks, all of Denver's issues. And tonight, not even he was able to overcome Denver's issues, despite putting up a career high 56 points in a loss to the now 3-win Washington Wizards. I am at a little bit of a loss for words, to be completely honest with you guys. I mean, you can't beat Washington after getting chewed up and spit out in your last game. Having a bad loss there, you're telling me you can't respond? And that's exactly what happened with the Denver Nuggets here tonight, man. I mean, their three-point shooting was absolutely egregious. Our first comment here from Chris. Again, if you're watching live, appreciate y'all. Tap in, drop some comments. Everyone in this organization has failed Nikola Jokic. I wouldn't say failed because that's definitive. They're failing, though. I think there's still time to correct this. Maybe, look, it's still early. It's December the 7th, right? There's opportunities for them to try to – but here's the thing. We're at the point where moves have to start being considered, or heavily considered, if not made already. My guy, Ryan Blackburn, who you guys know from the Mile High Sports Pickaxe and Roll podcast. He's also one of the hosts here for the Locked On Nuggets podcast alongside Matt Moore, a.k.a. Hardwood Paroxysm, and the man, the myth, the legend, Swipe-A-Cam. I saw him tweet something out earlier today that is, this is the type of loss that forces change. And that's how I'm going to that's how I would look at it too, is, like I said, we're going to talk about no Aaron Gordon, no Jamal Murray tonight. That definitely plays a role into it. But you should be good enough to beat the Washington Wizards without Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon. You should be. You had Michael Porter Jr. out there. You had Christian Brown out there. You have Nikola Jokic, the best player in the world, and you're telling me you're going to let Jordan Poole with no supporting cast cook you? Because that's what happened tonight. I mean, I saw it on the bug there on TV. Washington averages like right around 106 points per game this season. They scored 122 tonight. They had nearly 70 points in the first half. And I'm not trying to, go all ragey on this show here tonight, but like, that is bad. This is awful. And I was texting with a buddy of mine yesterday who's a diehard Nugget fan, and we were kind of just going back and forth, like, what are they going to do? What's going on? And he said something along the lines of, like, we might be back in the, we're going to be back in the dark days soon enough. I'm talking pre-Jokic, right? When this team, Brian Shaw era, those days might be coming up sooner rather than later if something doesn't change, folks. And I'm not smashing the panic button in regards to saying blow it all up, trade everybody, boom, boom, boom. I'm not there quite yet, but they are on that path right now where they are significantly underachieving. I mean, I was able to catch the first few minutes of the post-game show here. Katie Wingy and Scott Hastings currently on my screen. And Scott even had to bite his tongue saying, I don't want to get in trouble when it came to him trying to describe this game. So Denver loses tonight 122-113. Let's take a look at some of the numbers here because it was egregious outside of Nikola Jokic. Again, no Jamal Murray, no Aaron Gordon for this one. But, I mean, only two players outside of Nikola Jokic were in double-digit scoring tonight, and nobody besides Jokic had 20-plus points in this game. Nobody. Jokic had essentially half of Denver's points here tonight. Peyton Watson back in the starting lineup. He's had decent experience as a starter. 4 points tonight, a -17, the box plus minus, a steal, a block, 2 rebounds, nothing. 2 of 5 from the field. Michael Porter Jr., a max contract player, 11 points tonight, 0 of 5 from 3. A career high, or he had 6 assists, which I thought he had 7, which 7 would be a career high for him, but he finishes with 6 assists, 5 rebounds, but again, 0 of 5 from 3. And a night where we know that Denver's already a little devoid of shooting, but when you need shooting, when you need a max contract player to play like a max contract player, MPJ was not that tonight. Russell Westbrook, 7 points, 0 of 2 from 3. Christian Brown, 0 of 3 from 3, 14 points. I mean, you had Jalen Pickett playing significant minutes tonight, 16 points, 16 minutes, a goose egg in the points category. No points for Jalen Pickett. Hunter Tyson, 12 minutes, 2 points. DeAndre Jordan, 9 minutes, 1 point from the free throw line. Julian Strawther had 18, but he was awful on defense. I mean, 7 of 13 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3. Just not good enough. And this is on Calvin Booth. And again, no Jamal Murray, no Aaron Gordon. So I understand that. But Calvin Booth wants the young guys to play. Well, the young guys played tonight, folks, and they did not look good. And this is a Denver Nuggets team that is, less than 2 years removed from winning an NBA title. And they look like the cellar dwellers of playoff caliber. Are they even a playoff caliber team right now? But they are trending in the wrong direction. And again, winning is not easy. Losing, you're going to lose some games. But to lose to the Washington Wizards, who had lost 16 consecutive games, 16 consecutive losses for the Washington Wizards, when you're coming off a loss and you can't play with some pride, the young guys, I don't want to just throw them under the bus, but look, man, these guys, if you're going to play a bunch of young guys, don't be trying to contend for a championship. Don't do it when you have the best player in the world in his prime. That's how I kind of just feel about it. And look, it's one game. Let's not get too worked up over it. But again, this is a defining loss for the Denver Nuggets, One, like I just said, that should spur some action. Michael Malone's got to be beating his head against the wall. And I've been a Malone defender. I don't know what Michael Malone could do, to be completely honest with you, with the players they had at his disposal tonight. And you know what the crazy part is? Even if Jamal Murray plays in this game, I think Denver wins the game, but I'm not so sure it's convincing. So, lot to not be happy about tonight with the Denver Nuggets as they lose 122-113 to those Washington Wizards. Go ahead and drop some comments, guys. We got a comment here from Liz. If this doesn't freaking tell the stupid front office that they need to get Jokic a lot of help, and nothing will, I completely agree. Because now here you are. And like I said it on last night, or Thursday night show. I'm not going to cast full judgment on this team until we get to the new year, but I'm not really expecting anything to change between now and January 1. And, trade deadline, look, you got about 2 months, right? Beginning of February is when the trade deadline is. I don't know what moves they're going to be able to make. I don't know what moves are on the table, but it's just so clear that even with your starting five, even with Jamal out there, even with Aaron Gordon out there, the supporting cast is just not enough. And for you to not be able to beat the Washington Wizards, who have lost 16 straight games, while your best player, the best player in the world, sets a career high for points, that's telling. And frankly, tonight, the thing that was more frustrating to me was the defense. The defense was just non-existent in this game. And, they were letting Washington just get board after board after board. Jordan Poole lit it up. It looked like 2021 when he was playing with the Warriors. Jordan Poole had 26 shots up tonight. So, I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. Reset. It's a lousy 3-game road trip here so far for the Denver Nuggets. So, let me hit my first break, guys. When we come back, we'll continue on the conversation. Let's talk a little bit more about the big picture here with this game. We'll take a look at some more stats, the discrepancy with offenses tonight, the defense struggles for Denver, and then we'll talk about the Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray not playing dynamic as well. So drop some comments. Let me know how you guys are feeling out there. We'll be right back here on your Locked On Nuggets postcast. All right, you guys, let me tell you real quick about our friends over at Robinhood, because with Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows you allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.25% APY on uninvested cash and will be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on IRA account contributions. Robinhood Gold provides the privilege of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Terms, they do apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. So get involved with our friends over at Robinhood, the new gold standard. Sign up now at robinhood.com/gold. Okay, welcome on back into your Locked On Nuggets postcast. I am your host, Aniello Piro. You guys can follow me on social media at Media by AP. Make sure to hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, so that way you guys never, ever miss an episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast, live just about after each and every Denver Nuggets game throughout the course of the season. And I'm hoping this is the lousiest show. Not that the show is going to be lousy, but hopefully the lousiest performance we've seen for the Denver Nuggets all season, as they lose tonight to the Washington Wizards 122-113. Like I said, Washington, this is their third win of the year. They're now 3-18. They shot the lights out tonight, man. I mean, Jordan Poole led the way, 39 points, 9 threes for Jordan Poole. I mean, he did shoot 20 of them. So, you expect a good amount of them to go in. But, like I said, 39 points for JP, 12 of 26 from the field. He had 8 assists in this game tonight as well, along with 5 rebounds. I mean, Jonas Valanciunas, who we all remember from his time with the New Orleans Pelicans, is definitely one of the toughest matchups for Nikola Jokic. Not that it mattered tonight with his career high in points, but the issue with Valanciunas today is how many just 15-footers Denver was going to let him shoot from the charity stripe, essentially. 20 points for Val. He was 8 of 15 from the field, 4-4 for the free throw line. He grabbed 12 boards. He had 5 assists. And I mean, it just seemed like any possession, Jonas Valanciunas could have just sat right around the free throw line, hovered around there, get the ball, and get a wide open look. And bang, 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 bang. That's his bread and butter. So there was a lack of defensive intensity across the board tonight from the Denver Nuggets. And that's the thing. The offense has not been the problem for Denver this year. It's been a combination of primarily their defense, but also just their lack of a proper supporting cast. I mean, they don't have enough dogs out there. They've got a lot of puppies, for lack of a better phrase. And I use that term because that's what they got. They got a lot of inexperienced young guys out there who don't understand the speed and the need, what it takes to be successful at the NBA level. And I'm not trying to hold that against any of these guys. I think all these guys can be great. I think Julian Strawther can be a good player. I think Peyton Watson can be a good player. I think, all these guys can end up blossoming at some point in their NBA career. But the reality of the situation is this Denver Nuggets team has the best player in the world. And you're treating him and you're treating this roster in this season like it's a stepping stone type of year. That's the thing that's frustrating to me. Is I said it last game or after last game, you've got to push your chips into the center of the table because you're never going to have Nikola Jokic. You're looking at the best player in franchise history, the best player. There will never be another one of him. And to surround him with young guys that aren't, it's one thing when Jordan Poole is coming off the bench in Golden State to play alongside Stephen Curry in his prime, Klay Thompson while he still had it, not that he doesn't have it anymore, and Draymond Green, right? Real championship lineage. And again, I understand that Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon didn't play tonight, but you see just how short Denver is on talent. There's really no other way to say it. This is not an outlier game to me, man. We've seen these struggles throughout the course of the season. And one thing that I thought was kind of interesting, and I don't know if he was in the building or not, Aaron Gordon was on the bench. We know he was ruled out before the game here today. He was on the bench chatting up the guys. I didn't see Jamal Murray. And I don't know why that is. Maybe he was sitting in a box somewhere. Like maybe he was just, sitting in, back in the locker room. Like, I don't know. I don't know where Jamal Murray was, but optically, is that a good sign after what happened last game with him and Aaron Gordon? The waving of the kind of getting the team in the huddle. Jamal nowhere to be found. There's a UFC card tonight. I don't know if Jamal's over there. Like, I don't know what's going on with Jamal Murray, man. And just like I said, the optics of that are not good. If you're not playing, if you're not healthy, that's one thing, right? But you should be there for your teammates. You should be there for your teammates, especially when you've got a lot of young guys that look up to you and that are trying to find their own in this league and try to find their footing. And like I said, Aaron Gordon was out there. I saw him on the TV broadcast. I did not see Jamal. If you guys saw Jamal, let me know. Maybe I'm not trying. That's why I'm not trying to go too in on this. But if he's not there, optically, that is just not a really good look at all because he's not playing well. And frankly, he should be there for his teammates, like I just said. And so, looking at it again tonight, man, the statistics are just awful in this game for the Denver Nuggets across the board. I mean, they did shoot nearly 50% from the field. They essentially matched Washington from there. 46 for 94 was Denver for 48.9%. But they got killed once again from the three-point line. I mean, they had 5 3-point makes tonight to the Denver Nuggets. And they got outshot by nearly double. Washington was 16 for 41 from three, 39%. That's a lot of threes to take in a game. But Denver only had 24 3-point shot attempts. And there's Aaron Gordon on my screen right now. Yes, he was in the building. I don't know where Jamal is, though. And, that's the one common denominator with this Denver Nuggets team right now is they have to figure out a way to up the ante on their three-point shooting. If Denver does not figure out a way to generate more three-point shots and convert more three-point shots, that's all she wrote this season, folks. That's it. Throw in the towel. This is a scoring-driven league. This is a jump shot-driven league. This is a three-point shooting league. You cannot expect to win games in the NBA in the year 2024, going into 2025, playing basketball like it's in the 1990s and the early 2000s. That's just the reality of the situation. They've lost critical shooters in the last couple of free agency periods. We know Bruce Brown was unattainable. We know KCP. They could have paid him, but they didn't. And you replace him with Christian Brown in the starting lineup, who's not known for his shooting. And I like Christian Brown. I think Christian Brown's a good player. But again, you didn't do anything. The two players you brought in this offseason outside of your draft picks, Russell Westbrook and Dario Saric. Dario Saric doesn't even play. And Russell Westbrook is not going to light it up from three. We know that. So where is Denver going to get their three-point contributions? Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. And like I said, Michael Porter Jr. was not great tonight, folks. For a max contract player, not great at all. He was 0 of 5 from three. 11 points, as I mentioned. I mean, Jokic had 3 of Denver's 5 threes tonight. Julian Strawther with another 2. But he had a rough night on defense. I mean, he just cannot rotate, and he's just on the ground a lot. He's getting tripped up. So, and I'm just looking at the roster right now. Like, you have to hope and pray that Michael Porter Jr. starts hitting more threes. You have to hope and pray that Jamal Murray finds his juice and finds his spark and start hitting more threes. Because that's really it in the starting five, man. I mean, Aaron Gordon, while he's been nice from three this year, you can't bank. Like, Aaron Gordon's not known for his three-point shooting. Aaron Gordon is there to get rebounds and play alongside Jokic and clean the glass and finish alley-oops. I mean, Jokic is shooting nearly 50% from three this year, which is an anomaly for him, but he's been forced to. He's been forced to shoot that many threes. And so, again, man, I don't know where we go from here. Nothing will probably change in the immediate future, I wouldn't imagine. Maybe there's a reason Jamal Murray wasn't there. I don't know. I don't want to read into that too much, but all I know is what is happening with the Denver Nuggets on the basketball court right now is not good. Not good at all. And it doesn't look like it's going to get any better anytime soon. And because of that, as I said in the first segment, this is the type of loss that should have Calvin Booth thinking about ways to improve this roster immediately. Because I mean, like I said, I know we're 20-ish games into the season. That's a lot of games of 82, percentage-wise. So does Calvin Booth want to continue to show that trust in his young guys that they can start? But here's the thing, like, Peyton Watson's not a three-point shooter either. Of the young guys that Denver has on their roster, Julian Strawther is probably the one guy that you're expecting can at least contribute legitimate scoring on a game in and game out basis, but he's also a second-year player who barely played last year and was also hurt for a lot of last year. So is Denver even set up for success with this current roster construction? To me, the answer is no. And there was a lot of questions about that entering into the season. Nikola Jokic can only do so much, guys, and his body language isn't great out there either. And I'll say it again, when you have the best player in the world, the best player in franchise history of all time, you owe it to him. We had that one comment earlier in the show from Liz. She came out and said, if this doesn't freaking tell the stupid front office that they need to get Jokic a lot of help, nothing will. And I think she hits the nail on the head with that. 100%. I mean, it's just so evident that this roster is just not capable, at least at this point in time, of doing what needs to be done to be a championship contender, let alone a serious playoff contender at this point. So we'll see where it goes from here. But all right, let me hit my final break. We'll come back. A couple of closing thoughts before we get out of here on this Saturday night, right here on your Locked On Nuggets postcast. All right, you guys, let me tell you about our friends over at FanDuel real quick, guys, because get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And I tweeted it out at Media by AP on social media. You could have got some really good plus money on the Nuggets tonight if you were believing they were going to come back from that game. Unfortunately, that was not the case, but I got a little Bronco hoodie on. I know they're on a bye week, but they've been cleaning up lately. So if you want to never waste that hunch, guys, be sure to check out our friends over at FanDuel. Again, you can start it with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Check them out at FanDuel.com and let them know that Locked On Nuggets sent you. Okay, welcome on back into your Locked On Nuggets postcast. I am your host, Aniello Piro. You guys can follow me on social media at Media by AP. If you're watching live on YouTube, appreciate you. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button as we continue along with the conversation right here on your Locked On Sports Denver YouTube channel. And Denver tonight, no dice, 122-113. Your final score as Washington gets just their third win of the season as Denver falls to 11-10 on the year. Nikola Jokic, it stinks that it comes in a loss, but I think it's kind of fitting that it comes in a loss because we know Jokic doesn't want to, be the primary. I mean, not that he doesn't want to be the primary source of offense, but he's a guy who likes to spread the wealth a little bit. But he does end up with a career high 56 points tonight, 2 assists shy of a triple-double. He had 16 rebounds and 8 assists here tonight in the game. I mean, he took 38 shots tonight, guys. Is that the most shot attempts for Jokic in his game? It might have to be. He's 22 for 38. MPJ only took 14 tonight. Christian Brown took 14 shots tonight. MPJ 5 of 14. CB 7 of 14 from the field. But again, Jokic made up for nearly all of Denver's points, or half of Denver's points tonight, and essentially all of their threes. He was 3 of 5 from 3, and Julian Strawther accounted for the other 2 3-point shots that were made tonight for Denver. But they just got killed from the 3-point line here tonight. They shot 20.8%, only took 27 3-point shots, whereas, no, that's free throws. I'm sorry. They only took 24 3-point shots, whereas Washington took 41 of them. And they only made 16. I mean, I shouldn't say only. 39% is pretty good from 3. But, I mean, that's the story of the game right there. On top of the bad defense and on top of the fact that Denver's roster is just not built to win. And, look, if you want to come out here and say, well, they didn't have Jamal, they didn't have Aaron Gordon, blah, blah. It's the Washington Wizards, guys. It's the Washington Wizards. And give credit to them, man. It was like Serbian heritage tonight out there, just like it was in Cleveland. They, young guys looking to make looking to make a name for themselves in the league, right? They got the job done. Tip of the cap. Salute to the Washington Wizards. But Denver, it's a bad way to lose a basketball game, man. It's a bad way to lose a basketball game. So where do we go from here? Denver will play tomorrow afternoon, late afternoon, 4:00 p.m. So they got a back-to-back now at Atlanta. Atlanta's 13-11 on the year. They're 7-5 at home. Denver now on a 2-game losing streak. Frankly, I think it should be a 3-game losing streak. I was surprised they beat Golden State the other night, to be honest with you. And, we'll see if they can, have this bad taste in their mouth and come out and play with some vengeance, play with some fire against Atlanta and try to get back on the winning path. Hopefully Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray are going to be good. Again, I didn't see Jamal Murray out there tonight. There's a UFC card tonight. He was at the last one at Madison Square Garden, the pay-per-view. I don't know where Jamal is. I don't know. But the fact that he wasn't out there on the bench, again, if anyone saw him out there on the bench, my apologies. I didn't see it on TV. So if you guys saw him, let me know in the comment section. But not a good look. Not a good look at all. And just nothing about this game outside of Nikola Jokic scoring 56 points was good for Denver tonight, man. Nothing. I mean, like, I'm looking at the stats here. I mean, they essentially scored all their points in the paint. 74 of Denver's 113 points came from the paint. They were also awful at the free throw line tonight. I mean, they only shot 59% from the free throw line. That's the story of the game as well. They made it close there at the end of the fourth, but they were 16 for 27 from the charity stripe. I mean, that's just not going to win you any games. It's not. Turned the ball over 15 times tonight. They only had 12 fast break points, whereas Washington had 17. And we know that Denver leads the league in fast break points. That's their bread and butter. That's part of what helps get them out there and help keep them in the game. And they just didn't have it tonight, man. They didn't have it tonight. And it's just one of those that you have to kind of laugh off and move on to the next. And thankfully, they'll be able to get back at it tomorrow against the Atlanta Hawks and try to, like I said, get that bad taste out of their mouth and play with some fire and play with some juice and try to right their wrongs here a little bit. But this tonight, kind of in closing here, was a glaring loss that they can't count on the young guys when two starters are out. That Nikola Jokic can't, will this team to victory even against the Washington Wizards. And that if this team wants to be back in legitimate playoff contention, let alone, I mean, I can't even say championship contention at this point, something has to change. Something has to change. And I don't know if that's via trade. I don't know if that's via team meeting. I saw that Scott Hastings was talking about that on the post-game show as I was getting ready to, do this show myself. Maybe they have to have an all-team meeting where Jokic gets the guys in the locker room and they, go over some stuff and say, what are we doing? We're better than this. How do we get better? How do we improve? How do we fix this? Because right now it's broke. The Denver Nuggets look broken out there. So it is what it is. But all right, guys, that's going to do it for me. There's really not much more to say tonight as the Denver Nuggets lose in embarrassing fashion, 122-113, your final score. Washington put up 36 points in the first quarter, 33 points in the second. They put up 30 points in every quarter except the fourth. Jordan Poole lit it up. And they let the Washington Wizards snap their season-long, the NBA high 16-game losing streak. They get their third win tonight, 122-113. Denver falls to 11-10. But back at it again tomorrow. So make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, guys. That way you guys don't miss tomorrow's episode as Denver tries to get right against the Atlanta Hawks. But I'm Aniello Piro. You guys can follow me on social media at Media by AP. Appreciate you guys, as always, for rocking with me. And we'll see if Denver can bounce back tomorrow. But that is all she wrote for tonight, folks. Enjoy your Saturday night. Get out of the house. Go watch a movie. Do whatever you got to do to try to get this one out of your brain, because we'll have a fresh slate, a fresh game, a fresh opportunity tomorrow between the Denver Nuggets and the Atlanta Hawks. That's it for me, folks. Have a good night. Talk to you guys mañana.